Welcome to the Financial Services Marketing first lesson. I'm Diego, as many of you know, and I'm really excited to be kicking things off with you all. We've got big plans for this group. Blueprints, detailed guides, real world case studies, step-by-step strategies to help you dominate your niche. But here is one thing, here's the important thing. Before we dive into all the tactical stuff, we need to lay a foundation, a strong foundation. Think of today, this lesson, as the setting, the cornerstone, I love the word, of a building. If we don't start with a solid base, all those advanced strategies and techniques won't hold up. This first lesson is all about establishing the right mindset. That's fundamental. And for financial services marketing, why? Why is this? Because marketing in this industry is different. You are not just creating campaigns, you are just crafting strategies that build trust, comply with the regulations, which is super important, and drive real results. By getting this foundation right, every blueprint tactic, everything that we are going to be discovering later on, every strategy, everything that we do in the future will be more powerful and more impactful. If you want to walk away from this community armed with everything you need to the success, from specific templates to playbooks to in-depth guides, this is where you need to start. But first, let's make sure we are all thinking about the financial marketing in the right way. And when your mindset is aligned, every move you make will be sharper and more strategic to make it build to last. So once this groundwork is set, let's go on it. So why financial marketing needs a unique approach? Because it isn't just about leads, it's about legacy. Financial services marketing is fundamentally driven and different from traditional marketing. It's way more complex. We all know that. It's highly regulated. It sometimes is a pain in the rear end and trust driven. Why? Well, it's obvious because our audiences, you can be in wealth management, you can be in insurance, you can be in banking. Your audience is making decisions that directly impact their financial well-being and their families. They're risk averse and skeptical by nature. That's normal. They need to do their research. That means that traditional sales tactics do not work here. We are not in 1950s anymore. Everything has evolved so much. Instead, financial marketing needs to focus on building credibility and trust at every stage at the buyer journey. In this lesson, we're going to break down why marketing strategies that work in other industries can backfire here and how to reframe your approach for a high stakes audience. The three core pillars of financial marketing. These are fundamental. To success in financial services marketing, you need to master these three core pillars. I'm sure that many of you already know and are familiar with these three. First, compliance. Second, trust. And third, insight-driven strategies. Each of these pillars is essential on its own, and perhaps you can put more attention to one or the other, but this is like playing for a team. You need to have players in different positions to be able to score, So this is how they work together that sets great marketers apart from average ones. So let's look at what each of these pillars mean. Compliance first. Think of compliance as your guardrails, not your chains. It protects your reputation and keeps your message incredible. Yes, I have also experience in advertising. I worked for brands like Toyota and T-Mobile. True, we had like more freedom in order to create. And whenever you are like working in the banking industry, you have to be able to sort of like be creative within a box. But that's the challenge. And actually, that's what I learned to appreciate, The second thing is trust as a strategy. But that's a double-edged sword. And I want you guys to be really, really aware of this. Trust is something that everyone says. It's like saying, I have the best service. Everyone says that. So But in order to actually bring the trust as a strategy, you have to build on it. Trust isn't a secondary goal. It's your core strategy. It's something that is it's in there. It's with your personality. If your audience doesn't trust you, nothing else will stick. And also the insight-driven strategy. Um, uh, in there, I mean, so you have to deeply understand your audience pain points, motivations, and decision-making process is critical. So it's about creating this strategy. It's that is smart and impactful. And yeah, sometimes from the marketing perspective, we over we don't really look at this in detail, but these are fundamental. Compliance first. Um, these are your guardrails. These are not your chains, and I repeat. So we have to really start with compliance. And I get it. It's not the most exciting part, but it's the foundation. Without it, you are setting yourself up for trouble down the road. Compliance, yes, it takes sometimes more than a week to get approval, etc., etc. But compliance is more than just ticking boxes. It's about maintaining your credibility in a space where missteps can lead to long-term damage for your brand and for yourself as a professional. You always have to know about that and know the field that you're playing. If you are like a tennis player, it's not the same like playing in grass and playing in the sand. I don't know how it's even called in English. Think of it like this. Compliance isn't a barrier. It's your baseline. When done right, it becomes your strength. Take something as simple as making your terms and conditions clear. Okay? Or ensuring that your disclaimer are properly visible, or the size, you have to follow some size requirements. It's a small but impactful, and you are being transparent and upfront. So sometimes these disadvantages that can be considered at first, they can be your advantage. You can be transparent and upfront about something in particular. Ever had a compliance headache that seemed to derail a campaign? Let me know. I want to actually know about this, and that's the reason for this community. The pillar number 2 is the trust as a strategy. It's the currency that you're trading. Trust is the foundation of every successful financial brand. It's not built through flashy campaigns, it's earned through every interaction, every piece of content, and every disclosure. Let's look at a real-world example. Vanguard. The entire brand, Vanguard, is built on low fees, transparency, and clear client-first approach. They consistently emphasize their fiduciary responsibility because they understand that their clients aren't just buying investment services, they're buying confidence. Or, on the other hand, take Charles Schwab, Chuck. Their Talk to Chuck campaign made them approachable and authentic. And it wasn't just a catchy slogan, it was a commitment to creating a more transparent relationship with clients. So you have to always understand the transparency, the client stories, and the consistent voice, maintaining a reliable and authentic brand voice. Then we have the insight-driven strategies. Obviously, it's not guesswork, it's a strategy backed by data. We have to obviously understand our audience that isn't looking for a generic solution. They have complex needs. Your job is to understand those needs better than anyone else and speak to them directly. So first, you need to understand the audience, understand the pain points, the behaviors. That's a basic marketing thing, obviously. This means that doing your homework, knowing everything and addressing their specific financial concerns is crucial. For example, the way you talk to a high net worth investor looking for a wealth preservation will be entirely different from how you address a young professional building their first portfolio, or the same like a person that is like looking for a consolidation loan, or someone that wants an account certificate because they have money. in the bank. How are you currently gathering insights on your audience? That's also crucial. So for every single one of these audiences, you will be having an entry point, and you will be having a way to address their the message, the specific message. Common pitfalls to avoid. Here's the thing. This is where financial marketers go wrong and how you want it. Now that you understand the core pillars, let's talk about the pitfalls that seasoned marketers we typically fall into. And I consider myself one of those. I have learned, but sometimes I gotta say that I have to force myself to go back to these principles. And these are the most common mistakes. The first, the overpromotion. Being too promotional. Financial clients do not respond to hype, they respond to clarity. If your message is too pushy, it will backfire. What does it mean? That sometimes just because we have like this consideration and campaigns and awareness and then consideration and we display rates or something else, we are too flashy. We don't really put attention to what they really need. Or the clarity itself. What are their fears? Where are they? What is the story? And the second thing is ignoring compliance. Trying to bypass the regulations. It can be like a shortcut, but it will come back. It will come back to bite you every time. There is always people. You have people sending cold emails, and there is always someone that is sending an email hey, where did you get my information? There is always a way of that. Ignoring the complaint, that neglection will come to bite you. And also focusing on short-term wins. This is about long-term relationships. This sector is about building the trust and kind of building up and upselling. So it's not about quick sales. So prioritize value over value. Okay? And the next is basically you have to stop selling and start solving a problem. So how do you apply all of this? Well, we have to start shifting our mindset from promoting products to solving problems. I have been also part of these people that from the one perspective, you have an amazing rate, so you start pushing for product and get a HELOC. The HELOC is used for something, to renovate a kitchen, to pay some debt, to pay for college. We need to, instead of saying we offer X product with Y features, try reframing it. We help our clients achieve this outcome. Think about the outcome. People, whenever they buy you, they think about the outcome. The subtle shift, this puts the focus on the client's needs, not on what you're selling. It's not about me. It's about them. And also, the client always think about me. Here's a quick exercise. Let's play with it. Think of one of your main products. Go on. Now, get a piece of paper and write down 3 problems that solves for your audience. This shift in messaging can change the entire dynamic of your campaigns. What's a problem that your audience, what is the problem that they are facing and you are currently not addressing? Share it below and put it in the community, and we will brainstorm and work together. Okay? And the last one is, if you are ready to shift the mindset, or you probably already have this mindset. This is just an introduction. So let's just think about this and let it rest I put together this quick worksheet to help you reflect on the current mindset and strategies. Think of this as a gut check. If you're aligned with these 3 pillars, we are able to continue. There is a ton of the valuable stuff that is coming. I'm gonna also put like some worksheet to fill it out and share the key takeaways for the comments. So let's think always about this. Let's reflect. How compliant is this with my current strategy? I know that this is a basic, but this is the way to start. Always thinking first, the foundation. Refine. Let's think. Let's change the angle. And also reframe. How can I solve problems instead of just selling by the sake of it? We are marketers. We are not salesmen. We pass the ball so the salesman can score the goal. Always think about it. Our problems are not their problems. We have to think about this stuff, this foundational stuff. The rest, it's the sales people, Probably you are doing both, but you have to actually understand what will be your mindset. Well, that's all. I hope I wasn't too long, and let's see you in the next lesson. Thank you.